Hey everybody, welcome back to the Breath of Fire 3 walkthrough. We are obviously at the eastern checkpoint. Finally got the new passport from Windia. So we are going to make it on over to... Yes, we're trying to get to Angel Tower again. So here's Lee. This is I guess the third one of the hide and seek. The hide and seek gang. That can be found anyway at this point. I don't remember if I go right for the next one or not. And just finish up with, you know, get the whole gang together. I guess we'll find out. Alright, good old Mount Zublo. Zublo maybe? I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Zublo. I don't know why I walked in here. Kind of pointless. What? So that's weird. You can't decipher what the characters mean? Okay. I don't remember it saying that before. Maybe it always did, and I just didn't remember it that way. But, hey, you know what? Why don't we stand around for a while outside and, you know, enjoy the scenery of these lovely pillars. And that guard looks really weird. Yeah, let's just, there we go. Get moving. So this is still, yeah. Alright, so about halfway through this video, right before I jump into the title caves, is when my most recent playthrough picks up. So things will be a little different stat wise for my characters, but it'll be good. Excuse me. And here in Junktown is the last hiding. There she is. Win. Alright, so at this point, now that you've found all four, you can actually apprentice under them. Each of them has a different, I don't know, a different stat. They don't. The good thing about them is they don't have any minuses to their stats, but they're also not very. They don't give many positives either. So they're kind of weak masters. I guess if you want to go more like a little closer to middle of the road, you know, on building your characters, then by all means go right ahead. But I basically use them for their. I get the 3 levels under each of them, just so that my master list is complete, and then I don't ever touch them again. I want to say it's Bias or something like that. Bias has the chain formation, which is actually fairly useful. I mean, by far the most useful of the 3 formations that you get under apprenticing under them. The other brother, the little brother, is has a Cupid's Leer. So if you apprentice under him for 3 levels, you actually get an item, which I am not a fan of. I don't like that item one bit. But you know, if you do, there you go. There's a semi-easy one. But you know, all their stats aren't all that impressive, and You can, again, in my opinion, the most useful one is the guy that teaches you the chain formation, and I do use that every once in a while. But it's got its issues though too. So notably, if I remember it, you take a pretty huge defense decrease whenever you use it. So but again, it's got its uses here and there. And if you're not familiar, I guess, with what it does, is it sets everybody's speed to the same as the character in the first position. So if you've got like, a really agile character, like Ree makes a really good person for that. It will set everybody else's speed again to his. I don't believe, though, that necessarily means that they get the same agility as him. So what I mean by that is, I don't think you can have like Ree at the front of the chain formation with, say, like 100 agility, and have a Gar with 0 agility at the tail end of the formation, and expect a Gar is going to have the same steal rates. I don't think that is how it works. And feel free to correct me if you find that out. But yeah, that is my understanding. Is it just brings up the speed up to like I said, the front members. And the other thing with that, though, is you also keep in mind any sort of buff, like if you actually use the speed spell on the person in the number 1 spot, it does not, that buff does not apply to everybody else either. Sorry, everybody else as well. It's just you'll have to individually buff if you need more speed. But here, obviously Gar tells the Urkins here that he's gonna. He actually says that he's going to enter his sleep, the stone sleep. Which would mean that he will turn to stone. Alright. God appeared before the prostrate guardians. For their sacrifices and victory over evil. Interesting choice of words. So Gar explains that after their mission is over, they get to meet, obviously they get to meet God. So after meeting with God, most of them return their powers. Guardian's body turns stone. Okay. So there's a nice little plot twist for you too. Although I guess it is, I don't know, kind of foreshadowed. I believe there is a statue in town in Urken Taba. Although I didn't examine it to find out who it actually is. It looks a lot like Gar, but I don't think it actually is. I don't think it's supposed to be a likeness of Gar. I think it's just supposed to look similar because, they're both guardians. If you want to meet God, you must release me. Okay. Okay, pretty lady. Must seek Geist. Okay. Geist he's what? cool dude. Well, okay. Should be able to find out something about Geist. All right, so side quest time. Oh, lizard man. Excuse me. So here, these guys are kind of weirded out. They're like, hey, what's the deal? Thought you were turning to stone, buddy. Not the case. Not the case. All right. So I'll make a quick stop here in Urkin Tapa. We'll go ahead, head up and talk with Sudama. I think it's his name. Oh, Handara. Take that silly hat off your head. Alright. Alright, gotta put Gar. Put Gar up front. God, did not appear in the tower. It's because you still have doubt in your heart. Is that why? Is that why God didn't appear? Okay. A guardian that's given up fighting. But Gar, you cannot allow to let yourself to become like Geist. Keep your faith. Alright. That's interesting. So we've got a guardian who apparently didn't stay faithful, maybe I should say. Well, this should be fun. Alrighty. And here we are at the Tidal Caves. Alright, so this is this marks the start of my final playthrough. So from now on, this will be my current. There you go. Look at those levels. Much lower than the other ones. I think I'm about just shy of half. I'm a little over. I believe I was 40, 42, something like that. So, I will start out by saying I had my fairy village completely done at this point. So you'll see the Mind Shield is a reward from the fairy exploration. Tiger's Cap can be obtained in the fairy shop. The Force Armor as well is a fairy exploration reward. I believe I've got the Spirit Ring and the Ivory Charms as well. So both of those also are exploration rewards. So obviously quite a bit of time spent on the fairy village at this point, which paid off quite well. I was very happy with that, and that was one of my biggest goals for this playthrough, was to just see what I could do with the early fairy village. All right. So here's the tidal caves. Basically, this area, the way this area works is the tide rises and falls, and you know, depending on where you're at and how much time you spend in each area, the tide may or may not be where you need it to be. Basically, if you ever get stuck in a spot where you know, say you need the tide lower, you could just come to one of these side caves and kind of run around for a little bit, and then that will have the, you know, that will make the tide drop or raise. The little frog guys are pretty dangerous. You see, my main character got confused and then snapped right back out of it, luckily, by the spiker, I believe it is. Yeah. The Barbarossa is a very good weapon to have here. Obviously, wow, that hit really hard. The majority of the enemies here are weak against the thunder property. Wow, jeez, can't speak today. So you know, you can really put that to good effect here. And we're gonna want to take this right. There we go. Got the fish head. So that is one of very few fish heads that you can actually obtain, like out of treasure chests or even from stealing. I believe you can steal 2 of them from bosses. You know, up to you on how you want to handle them. You know, I wouldn't recommend. Actually, I can't recommend copying them at all in the fairy copy shop, just because in the fairy gift shop, it only takes 7 battles for you to get the fish head as a reward. So if you wanted to mass produce fish heads, all you would have to do is set up, you know, tons and tons of gift shops, and you know, go out, fight 7 battles, come back, bam, you got fish heads. So easiest item by far to obtain, of the stat boosting items, that is. You know, so again, you know, I wouldn't recommend copying them. I wouldn't even bother hanging on to them, really. You know, unless you just don't plan on using, well, I guess even if you don't plan on using the fairy shop at all, then I would just, you know, use them. Because there is no other way, or you can't do anything else with them anyway. I'm trying to think if Hachio requires you to have one or not. Nope, I'm sorry, that's a swallow eye that I'm thinking of. So go ahead, do whatever you want with the fish heads. The Barbabulb. So the Barbabulb is a little annoying because they've got a super high reprisal rate, and then they buff themselves with an attack up ability. So you know, if you're like me and you took Momo through here, it's generally a good idea to plug them with Momo at the end of the turn. You know, hopefully she's your slowest character, which in most cases she will be. But you can make them fall asleep so that they won't cast their buff spell on themselves. They do still have a crazy high reprisal rate, but yeah, such is life. One thing that you can do actually to kind of slow Momo down is stick the you know, you can stick heavy armor on her. That would do it. You can also yeah, weigh her down with the Midas Stone, because that is a very, very heavy item. So that'll really bring her agility down as well. All right. Oh, sleepy. So if you haven't learned it yet, you can learn snooze from the sleepy. Trying to think of. some other things to bring up for this area. I don't know, if you follow this path, you should be able to make it to exactly where you need to go without ever having to really wait for the tides. I mean, I never had a problem in this playthrough, and actually the previous one as well, with, you know, getting stuck anywhere. Boom. So there you go. Put the spiker to sleep so he wouldn't buff himself. And oh boy, is this? No, this isn't chain formation. It felt like I was really fast, but I don't think that was the case. I don't think I'm using chain formation right here. I think it took me a while. Yeah, it took me actually quite a while to learn that. I believe I didn't start really leveling anybody until after I had unlocked one of the masters that's coming up. All right, let's see if there's a reprisal. Missed, nice. Oh, and Momo misses. It looks like Momo is faster than the main character. Yeah, she's faster than it was able to use its buff. Or is the main character going first? You know what, I'm having a hard time telling. Alright, the ebb of the tide has changed. Alright, so you're going to want to go over here, go down this ladder. The piece of wood right at the left-hand side of that screen there, you guys can actually go over there, and there's a rope that's I don't know, kind of holding that up. And if you cut that rope, it kind of makes a shortcut back to the very, very beginning. But in all honesty, it's not even really worth it. There really isn't any reason to, you know, to do that. I guess unless you had missed a treasure or something. But you know, for the most part, actually, if you're following this, you should get to the end there with no problems. Oh, what do we got over here? Yeah, I'm quite a bit happier with those levels. They seem much more in line with where a typical party would be at this point in the game. Ah, yes. So the Thunder Ring. This thing is fantastic. I believe I took that right to the copy shop right away, and actually I think that's what I did with my other rings, my ice ring and my fire ring, and just copied and made 3 of them. Just so I'd have them. The bomb seed is very, very much like the other bombs in that they always, I think there's 3 different types of these guys that have this, you know, they share the same sprite, or they look the same. And if I remember right, they all drop ivory dice, which doubles the amount of experience that you get from a battle, so they can be useful here and there. I don't typically use them, nor do I farm them. I don't. I definitely wouldn't, you know, sit in an area and try to get more of them. Just because there are, in my opinion, you know, there's better ways to go about it. The Lava Men trick comes to mind. But you know, if they're your thing, just know that this is one place to get more of them. Yeah, and it looks like I've got everybody. So the Ivory Charm, which is what is giving everybody 1 health every turn. You know, that part of it, not that useful, but the real useful part about the Ivory Charm is it ups your resistances to everything by 50%. So, you know, basically, if an enemy is going to try to cast a status effect on you, you know, you'll resist it 50% of the time. You'll take 50% less damage from any type of elemental attack. So, you know, a fire spell, ice spell, thunder spell, you'll take 50% less damage from any of those things. Combine that with something that already gives you 50%, like the asbestos armor, and you will be at 100% reduction in damage. So you will not, sorry, you won't take any. You'll take 0 damage from those particular skills. So, long story short, they are very, very useful. Very useful indeed. And they are actually also do, like I said, being that they grant 50% resistance, and I do mean to everything. That includes status effects, as well as psionic attacks. So basically anything that would raise your defense or your attack power. You know, any type of debuff that would do that. Say Mind Flay comes to mind from the, oh, what are those? The birds in here. We just fought one a little bit ago. Anyways. That's another, you know, good example, or that's an example, I should say, of a psionic ability that you will, you know, like I said, you'll have 50% reduction to those. So, you know, and there's actually quite a bit of other items that have a lot of blanket immunities, blanket reductions like that. More so towards the end of the game is when you're really going to start picking up those items that give more reductions like that. And paired up then with the Ivory Charms. They keep in mind now there's Ivory Dice, which doubles your experience, and there's the Ivory Charm, which is the accessory that I'm talking about. So you know, like I said, we talked about it a little bit in the earlier on in the video. I wanted to make sure that there's the distinction there. But anyways, like I said, like we were saying, the you know, there's other items that you can pair up with the Ivory Charm to make yourself 100% you know, resistant to status effects and whatnot. So yeah, so good to know. Alright, what else we got here? I think we go right here. These little floating pathways, platforms can get a little confusing. You just gotta know that you basically can make a circle with them. I think they'll always take you back to where you came from if you ride them enough times. So, I mean, gosh, I remember the first time I ever came in here, it was so confusing. I mean, it really is. It's especially with all the water level, you know, rising and falling. You can't always get right back to where you were. So it can, you know, can be a little frustrating. So, you know, again, and I brought it up earlier when we actually obtained it, but that Thundering, I would definitely suggest if you've got your copy shop running to copy yourself up a couple of those. You know, at least having 3 of them in your inventory is what I would recommend. Yeah, I don't know that you need to go much, you know, more overboard. But up here, this is one of my favorite weapons for the main character. It's called the Deadly Blade, and what it does is it actually increases the chances that you'll get a critical hit. So you know, against if you're going to be using just the attack command, it'll be, or even actually it applies to reprisals as well. But you know, there you go, the Deadly Blade. Love that. And so like I say, it increases your chances of getting a critical hit, and it's most useful in my opinion against anything that has, you know, or I should say that doesn't have any sort of elemental weakness that you can exploit, or like a great example is in this dungeon. A lot of things are weak against the Thunder property, so you're probably just better off sticking with the Barbarossa for a dungeon like this. But in most cases, the Deadly Blade will be much better choice. All right, that is almost it for this video. Like I said, glad we finally got into the most recent playthrough. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. But hope you're all liking the videos and join me for more. All right, thanks for watching.